looks like there was one Wolverine that was like in hell because Deadpool got to this dimension or timeline or universe where like you see all these red skulls. So I'm like, what's going on here? Like, oh, why don't you save him? He clearly needs your help. All right, let's get into those spoilers. Let's get into those spoilers. Oh my goodness. Yo, that was hard. Okay, no, it wasn't really hard, but it was a little. Okay, I can't say that. For one, Henry Cavill was Wolverine. We got to see a Henry Cavill Wolverine, and the reason why, for me personally, that was so fire to see, it was such an amazing thing to see, was because he's still jacked. He's more jacked than Hugh Jackman. Now, granted, like Henry Cavill is younger than him, so maybe that's kind of more so why Hugh Jackman might not be getting the gym like that. Maybe he'll be a little bit bigger when we get to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars with the I am Dr. Doom. That was my Tony Stark impression, trying to sound like Dr. Doom. But yeah, oh my goodness, we're gonna get into those cameos. We're gonna get into everything. I'm gonna do this similarly to the non-spoiler review. And so essentially we're gonna kind of go from the top. So actually I should have mentioned this in the non-spoiler review, but the whole Marvel Studios intro in the beginning, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall with that. So that was expected, genuinely, that was expected. The way they jump into the movie, Deadpool literally finds Logan, not Wolverine, Logan's bones from his grave. Oh my goodness. Only he could do it. And I'm not gonna lie, once they started the movie off like that, I was like, this might be really, really good. But I'm chilling, I'm watching, I'm gonna let it play out. I don't have no expectations. I'm just gonna let it play out, see how it goes. And yet he digs into Logan's grave from the Logan film, uses his bones because the TVA is after him. I'll get in, the TVA is after Deadpool essentially because his universe, which is the Fox universe for Marvel, is dying essentially. And his universe is dying because they say that because the anchor, the person that kind of left, the person that's there to kind of keep everything together died, which was Logan. Logan was, I guess you could say Logan was the last character, character within that timeline to be alive and be heroic in that sense, more than a Deadpool, which I understand. That timeline stuff, I'm a little questionable about that. I'm not gonna go into deep diving with that one, but that was a little questionable, a little confusing. But yeah, like, so Deadpool's fighting the TVA with Wolverine's adamantium bones. So you get to see like Wolverine's adamantium skeleton. It's like, I wanted to make an Attack on Titan rumbling reference, but I'm not gonna do that. But you see the adamantium bones, and he takes all of Wolverine's bones apart and just uses them as weapons. He even uses Wolverine's claws. Literally, that was something. And the whole reason he did it was because the TVA was saying they were trying to capture him, and they were saying, "Oh, you can't use your weapons to stop us." And he's like, you already knew what was going to happen. He was going to use the bones. And that was a crazy scene. But you rewind backwards, my bad. You know how Deadpool does. Like, he'll jump ahead and then jump back like in the previous films. It's kind of that in a way, at least in the beginning. And yeah, so the higher purpose that Deadpool was seeking was to be an Avenger. He literally has an interview with Happy Hogan, asks him if he can be an Avenger essentially. You know, they had a little gratuitous conversation, more so on Deadpool's side than Happy's side, but hey, so obviously he doesn't get the job, and I think that kind of sends Deadpool into a depression, it seems like. Fast forward back to the present, and you see Deadpool with like a toupee, and he's with Peter, and they're both working at a car dealership, essentially, and yeah, that's the job. That's what he's doing. That's what Wade Wilson is doing now, is being a car salesman. I guess maybe in a way it's his way of doing a more so honest work because he's not a mercenary anymore. I was also wondering if he was doing it for Vanessa. You know what? In the non-spoiler review, I wanted to say Vanessa too, but it just escaped me for a moment. But yeah, so Vanessa and him aren't together, and I was kind of confused about that. And yeah, I'm not gonna regurgitate the non-spoiler review with spoilers now, but there will be some tidbit pieces here and there. But I found that interesting. I was like, okay, so he's trying to, I guess, not be a mercenary killing people. They still do coke for sure. They definitely still do coke. Him and Blind Owl, or what is her actual name? What's her actual name? What is her name? What is her name? Where's she at? Oh wow. They don't even got her here in like the, oh yeah, Blind Owl. Dang, I didn't recognize her. Whew, that threw me off. Yeah, Blind Owl, that's what they call her. Yeah, so it's Wade's birthday, and like I said, he's trying to seek a higher purpose. So the TVA pull up, they capture him. His friends that came to celebrate his birthday, they don't know, but yeah, he just stepped out. Like, they had a party in the apartment and he stepped out, and then the TVA popped up and took him. And yeah, so he gets taken, and he gets his whole backstory, pretty much confirming like the multiverse for him and whatnot. And he finds out that he's supposed to become an Avenger in the future. And there's some sort of like scene, like if y'all know the TVA from like Loki, they have like those TV screens, and it just shows like different events. You see the Avengers uniting for the first time, you see Endgame, all this type of stuff. And they're basically like I already said, his timeline is dying essentially because they don't have a Wolverine, they don't have Logan. Logan's gone. And there's a twist with that, but we'll get to that. Yeah, so basically they recruit Deadpool. Deadpool gets a new suit and stuff. Well, not a new suit, same suit, but his suit looks like clean, polished, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, the MCU really confuses me with these damn timelines and universes. Like I said, this whole I said it in the Doctor Doom video. I said it there. I want to say they don't know what they're doing, and Deadpool kind of says that. He says like, look, Marvel is at a low point right now. Yeah, Deadpool says something like that, kind of just to poke fun at Marvel, like MCU being mid for these past 4 or 5 years and whatnot. And yeah, so basically like Deadpool jumps to the conclusion that, hey, I just need to find a Wolverine. And that's when you go into the Wolverine cameos and whatnot, and that's where you see the Henry Cavill Wolverine. You see, and you get an actual comic book accurate Wolverine. It's more so for jokes than it is legit. It basically have Hugh Jackman, like, I guess they use CGI to make him look shorter, or maybe put his face on someone else's body who was shorter, but this person was like, it was I know Wolverine is like probably a 5'2", 5'4" at most, something like that, but I'm like, he's not that short now, is he? It was a bit like, it was weird to look at too. But yeah, you get mad different cameos, but that was one of the ones that popped up. The Henry Cavill one, that one popped up for me too. You get to see Hugh Jackman as these other Wolverines as well. One of them with like an eye patch. I don't really know all the lore with Wolverine. It looks like there was one Wolverine that was like in hell because Deadpool got to this dimension or timeline or universe where like you see all these red skulls. So I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why don't you save him? He clearly needs your help. But regardless though, he comes into the Wolverine that we do get. He goes to his universe, as y'all seen in the trailer and whatnot. He's very depressed. I want to say he's a critical drinker. Shout out critical drinker. Nah, but he's a drunk, like drunk. I mean, that's because he's very severely depressed. So Deadpool doesn't really have much of a challenge trying to get him to recruit him. Not really recruit him, but more so take him back to the TVA, which is what he did. You get to see Wolverine's the Wolverine yellow and blue costume, and even the TVA is like, you brought this Wolverine out of everyone. He's literally the worst, because he is the worst. He's literally the worst one. They don't really talk too much about why he's the worst one. Yeah, They get pruned by the TVA, and then they're in the void now, just like in Loki, right? A good amount, basically the entire Fox Marvel universe is there, pretty much, which I peeked at. I almost got fooled when I heard Chris Evans' voice, but I was like, he looks kind of skinny. Why does he look skinny? And I was like, at first I thought it might have been Cap, because like the clothes he had on, you saw like a blue and red. So I was like, oh, it's Captain America. You're gonna get a lot of Fox Marvel cameos in this film, especially in the void. When Chris Evans pops up, it's Johnny Storm, Human Torch. I was like, yo, that's crazy. And I was like, oh, they're finally gonna do him. They're gonna do him right. They're gonna do him right. And so I was fucking loving eating this shit up. Yeah. So yeah, he turns into Human Torch when Cassandra's henchmen, which are basically the villains from the Fox X-Men films, the original trilogy, the Bryan Singer original trilogy, and I was like, oh cool, Sabretooth's bad. You got Toad, you got Blob, you got what's his name, Pyro. Always hated him, honestly. That scene from X-Men Last Stand, people talk shit about it, but that scene in X-Men Last Stand with Iceman versus him, and Iceman just fucking headbutts him, oh my goodness. And he's still there, and I'm like, this bitch boy, he's in this movie. He literally takes Human Torch's powers, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, they done hold Human Torch again. And yeah, so they get captured. They go to Cassandra's base, and essentially, essentially as soon as they pull up, when you get to see Cassandra, and you hear that, like, you get to see that interaction between Deadpool, Wolverine, and her, Deadpool immediately starts talking shit about Human Torch, saying like, oh yeah, he called you a bitch, a hoe, a slut, a da-da-da, a whole lot of other stuff that if this channel was getting money, getting monetized, it would get demonetized if I wanted to say the rest of it. But let's just say some Family Guy type roast type shit, for real, which you don't see. And I'm like, he kind of talked shit about her when they got captured, but like, not really, not that much. And he went in, like Human Torch went in on her, and Deadpool is literally spilling all the tea. I'm like, bruh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't let, like, I've never seen Human Torch in a good light. Don't get this man killed. But you know what? He gets the man killed. She literally pulls the skin off of his body, where he's literally just bones and meat, and that's it. And then he falls apart, dead, just like that. There goes a Chris Evans cameo. Now granted, I'm surprised Deadpool didn't make a joke about not having enough money to be able to pay for that, but it was still fun. It was still fun to watch. So Elias pops up to go do what it does and clear out the void, and everyone jumps into the base, which is literally Ant-Man, fully like giant man on the ground. And essentially, like, her base is his head. I'd even think anything of it, because they didn't really focus too much on that. So, RIP. Yo, they keep doing my guys dirty. Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. So they fight her. They realize they can't fight her. They literally need a helmet that blocks psychic abilities in order to fight her, like the Juggernauts, which they do get later into the movie, because Magneto's dead. So as Magneto's dead, it doesn't even really matter, because Magneto's not in the film, but he is brought up when they start having a conversation about how they can stop her. Magneto is the first one that gets brought up, because, you know, Magneto's helmet and whatnot. They said she killed him and melted his helmet. Of course she did. Yeah, so Elias comes, Deadpool and Wolverine find a way out of there, because they're no match for Cassandra, like at all, no match whatsoever. She's crazy strong. Like, if y'all know, if you've seen the movie, you know. Deadpool and Wolverine start fighting, like they start scrapping, like going crazy, and Of course, you keep getting this subtle commentary from this fourth wall commentary from Deadpool about like, hey guys, you nerds about to go crazy, get your socks ready type shit. But yeah, so you get like 2 fights between those two, and you basically come to realize, because the first fight was kind of short, the second fight was in this Honda Odyssey, or that was basically the battleground for it, and it goes on like all night. Because you realize, like, yo, they both heal. When is this gonna end? It's never gonna end. Literally, once they get to the morning, they're both knocked the fuck out. You see someone with boots. I immediately knew that, okay, I had a very strong feeling it was X-23. It was. And they go to the base. You don't know yet, though. But it's X-23. So they go to the base, and they wake up in this place. Of course, Wolverine straight up drinking Jim Beam like it's nothing. Like, yo. But yeah, where was I at? Yeah, so they're at the base, and you get to see Blade, you get to see Gambit, you get to see Elektra. Who else? Oh yeah, X-23. So basically the team that I was talking about, the non-spoiler review, is Deadpool, Wolverine, Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23. Gambit is played by Channing Tatum. That was a very that was a good Easter egg. That was a good Easter egg, honestly. It was. But like I'm used to Remy being a little skinnier, and he was looking kind of thick, I'm not gonna lie. But he fit the bill. It might be the only time we see him as Gambit, so I'm kind of like, it is what it is. It was cool seeing Wesley Snipes as Blade as well. That was very cool. It was very cool to see. Not really a big Blade fan. The only Blade I remember was Blade Trinity when I was a kid. But I never really cared for Blade like that. Same thing with Elektra. I was actually wondering if Daredevil was gonna show up. They say he's dead, so I'm like, yeah, y'all didn't want to get Ben Affleck and was it Jennifer Garner in the same film or whatever. They start talking, figuring out what they're gonna do, because ultimately, at the end of the day, Wade's universe timeline is gonna get destroyed. Honestly, I don't care. Timeline universe, same fucking shit. Marvel, y'all the motherfuckers that really made this shit way more confusing than it needed to be. Anyways, they figure out that, okay, we gotta get Juggernaut's helmet, so we're gonna have to go back to the base and get his helmet so that they can be able to fight against Cassandra and be able to get back to their universe, right? And so they do that. They go back to the base now. They're all fighting. You get to see... I'm honestly disappointed, personally, I didn't get to see more X-23. They didn't give her enough focus. She didn't even have the costume. And yeah, it's the same X-23 from Logan. So I was like, what is she doing there? That doesn't make any sense, actually. And that's what I'm saying. It's like certain stuff like that, I'm going to have to watch some smarter people than me that are willing to do the research and put things together, because that made no fucking sense. Like, time traveling in Endgame, yeah, sure, that could get a little complicated, but they just made it so much worse with that, in my opinion. But yeah, so they go to the base, you get to see everybody fighting, and I was like, I'm honestly hyped to see Gambit, because after seeing X-Men 97, seeing how Gambit is, I'm like, yo, Gambit's like that. He's like that. I know he is now. So you got to see some of that. You get to see a little bit of the card throwing, and then he actually blew someone up, because at the end of the day, Gambit's powers aren't like exploding cards. His powers are essentially, how do you explain it? He can touch things and put his energy into it, for lack of a better word, and cause it to explode. Like in X-Men 97, when he blew up the freaking Triskelion crazy ass fucking Sentinel shit, and then died and shit. Like, oh, my bad, spoiler. If you haven't seen X-Men 97, go watch it. Still, it's a good show. Okay, X-23. She actually did have a good little highlight. She had a good little highlight. She actually sliced Juggernaut's ankles. Literally, Juggernaut's on his knees. Imagine this is your foot. It's just like chopped. And it's like, graphic shit, but yeah. So that's how they got the helmet off. They cut his head off, or I'm assuming she did. They didn't show the beheading of him, but they get the helmet off. She puts it in his backpack and throws it up to the part of Ant-Man's head of the base where Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cassandra are in. Of course, I'm not even going to talk about that because it's really nothing. She bodies them again. But once they get that helmet, they put it on her. And you come to find out, it was mentioned earlier in the film too, that Pyro, snake ass dude, bro. Snake ass Orochimaru ass dude. I knew that even shocked me that he was being a snake again. And essentially, like, the TVA and Cassandra, they have like a alliance of sorts or whatever. And so essentially, like, with those two having an alliance, the TVA contacts, they contact Pyro. And essentially Pyro's like, all right, I'll get it done. Like, I'll basically like getting her killed. I was wondering when he was going to pop up. And then of course he pops up when they get the helmet on her, shoots her a couple times. Yeah, she could have died right there. She really could have died right there. And what I was mentioning earlier also, or not earlier, but in the non-spoiler review, is that, so Wolverine tells his backstory to two people. He tells his backstory to X-23, which I thought was really very subtle in the sense of like, not everyone in the film knowing, but her knowing, like, it's X-23, it's like his daughter basically. And then Cassandra, which she's a telepath like Xavier, which also kind of makes sense too. And yeah, you actually find out that, on a side note, you find out like Wolverine basically got the X-Men. It's not his fault, but like he went out to drink and got super fucked up. The humans came to kill the X-Men. When he got back to the X-Mansion, they're all dead. They don't show none of this. They just tell you. But you can imagine it. And everyone's dead, like dead. And they don't really go into details of it. But if you know the X-Men, they have mutant power neutralizers, which basically, that's not what it's called, but like they got weapons that can basically neutralize mutant abilities and kind of just make you human and then kill you too. And also, not all the X-Men are indestructible or anything like that, like Wolverine. But yeah, so that really tore him up pretty badly, leading him to go on like even basically just going on a purge where like he was just killing all the humans that were bad and basically made a bad name of the X-Men. He killed some good people too. Essentially, I was thinking for a moment that Cassandra was similar to Charles, right? Like, if y'all know the X-Men, with Charles always tries to get into people's minds and try to bring the good out. She was doing the flip. She was basically like, look, you can be here in the void and do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can kill as many people as you want. Like, she could not resist the opportunity of recruiting that man. And he wasn't going for it, because at the end of the day too, he still knows what he did was bad. He was being accountable for that. And so essentially, back to the whole Juggernaut helmet being on her head and she can't use her abilities now and her being shot, he took the Charles route and was like, hey, Charles wouldn't want me to kill you. If he knew you existed, he would literally tear a hole through a universe in order to find you. They save her life and she's touched by it. She uses Doctor Strange's ring to create a portal to get back to Deadpool's universe, which they make it there just in time. And that's where you kind of get to the final, you could call it the third act of the film, or like the final, like maybe 20 minutes, something like that. And yeah, so the TVA that is focused on Deadpool's timeline is ran by this dude called Paradox. Paradox is essentially trying to destroy their universe, and then I'm mixing that up with Cassandra. Not that, but he is trying to destroy their universe, essentially, because he's like, look, y'all ain't got no anger. Might as well let y'all go. Y'all ain't nobody, essentially. So he's making this like time bomb, for lack of a better word, to destroy the universe. Y'all know how it is when a universe essentially gets not necessarily pruned, but you know what happens when a timeline gets destroyed from Loki. And so that's happening in an underground like in the subway, happening in the subway or whatever. And Deadpool and Wolverine get back, and essentially now you're in the final act of it. So now they're trying to stop the TVA from doing what they're doing, but then Cassandra pops up too, and she actually wants to use this time bomb to essentially destroy every timeline, so that the world is literally just in the void now, essentially. And so she proceeds to get down there and she connects herself to this machine that is the time bomb. And then so she came through the portal, obviously, same portal, and then another portal opens and you see Deadpool's dog. Oh yeah, they had I don't know if it's called Dogpool. It's probably called Dogpool. Honestly, it's probably called Dogpool. Let's be for real. They got Dogpool. They got Kidpool. Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds has his own cameo with his face too, back in the Void and whatnot. But yeah, so the Deadpool Corps pops up. Deadpool Corps is basically like every single Deadpool character you can imagine, every iteration. They even have a Lady Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively. They didn't show her face, but I feel like it probably was her. And yeah, so they're all basically trying to stop him, which that was confusing for me. I was like, okay, so y'all are working with Cassandra? Like, what's... Like I said, the movie's not perfect. It's a really, 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 really good movie. It's really like, if you're going to compare it to some of the mid that the MCU has had these past 4 or 5 years, it's definitely a big improvement, honestly. But that was a little bit confusing. So yeah, they were trying to stop them. So now you get the scene of Wolverine and Deadpool fighting all of them. Wolverine finally puts on his mask, which he's never done in any movie. So this is the first movie to do it. Damn, took Hugh Jackman 4 years to do this shit. Jeez Louise. But it was weird, honestly. It was weird seeing the helmet, but it ended up looking good. And it almost is a seamless transition, because then he does the whole Wolverine posing stuff, and it kind of like, you're like, oh, Wolverine, okay, yeah. So they fight, and in my mind I'm like, okay, they're fighting Deadpools. You know how this is gonna go. They're gonna regenerate and come back like zombies, essentially, which is what happened. So I'm like, this is gonna just keep going. But you know who pops up? Peter Pool, dressed up in a Deadpool costume. And so essentially all the Deadpool Corps just stops, because they're like, oh yeah, we all have a Peter in our universe, you're good, yeah, we're gonna stop, yeah, we like Peter. So that happened, and Deadpool and Wolverine can proceed to stop Cassandra Nova. And so they find out in order to stop this time bomb, they have to essentially, there's like these it's like these two funnels, I guess you could say, or these two like tubes that have, I don't know, it's connected to the time bomb, whatever. So like Deadpool, it could either be Deadpool that could do it. They basically make it seem like either Deadpool has to do it or Wolverine has to do it. So Wolverine is kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But then Deadpool stops him, because Deadpool and this is his movie. But then I'm also like, it's called Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not cool. It's not called just Deadpool. So I guess in a way you could maybe look at this as like Deadpool 2.5 in a way, but it doesn't feel like it at all. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And yeah, so Deadpool tries to stop the bomb and stop Cassandra Nova, but he realizes the way these two like tubes are like positioned, it's not long enough for him. Now luckily he locked Wolverine out of this, like, you could say danger room or whatever, like just locked him in, so he locked himself in the room so that Wolverine couldn't get in. But at the end of the day, Deadpool and Wolverine pops up, and Wolverine helps him, and they save the day, because at the end of the day, like, this, what they had to do, not any character could do it. Like, people with their abilities, that extra healing, regeneration, adamantium, all that stuff, it helped them with that. So they saved the day basically. And Cassandra Nova's dead. That was kind of, I wonder, is she dead? Or like, is she dead? I'm gonna have to find that out. But yeah, so she's gone for now. I'm gonna say for now. And TVA pops up with dang, what's her name? What is her name from Loki season 2? I can't remember. Not Renslayer. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Not Renslayer though. But yeah, she pops up, and she's basically like, some crazy shit that just happened. Crazy shit. And like Paradox is trying to act like he had no part to play in this, trying to spin this shit like, oh yeah, these guys had a heroic sacrifice, and yeah, they're heroes, and yeah, my name's Kermit. But yeah, that's done, and Deadpool and Wolverine pop back up. They're not dead, which you knew they weren't gonna die. They seem perfectly fine, almost unfazed by everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Deadpool and Wolverine are now like in the same universe. They get, I guess the other the other Fox Marvel characters, at least like Gambit and Elektra and Blade, kind of get their own, I guess they get their own happy ending. You don't really get to see it for real. My bad. But X-23 ends up with Logan, which is cute because it's like, you know, father-daughter. That's cute. Even though it's not the same Logan, it fits. And they get to keep Dogpool too. Not Logan. Wade starts to rekindle things with Vanessa with the help of Logan. And to be honest, I feel like that was kind of the ending. And then they played this specific Green Day song. Time of Your Life, right? I think that's the name of the song. Time of Your Life by Green Day. Yeah, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. Yeah, that's my song. And they just go into the credits. They go into the credits and you get to see like, it's basically the send-off to like the Fox Marvel universe. So it was really like, it was nice. I'm like, dang, this is my childhood, my teenagehood, like part of my adulthood. And I'm like, even though, damn, such a, man, the Fox Marvel universe, I'm sure there's plenty of videos probably breaking that down and how the Fox Marvel universe could have been better. But eventually it failed because they just, if it was really good, we get more than just a Deadpool from Fox. But at the end of the day, Deadpool is probably the most successful thing that Fox had compared to X-Men and the rest of them. Get that nice little send off. You get to see the BTS. You get to see Hugh Jackman like behind the scenes of like the first X-Men talking about like damn, I don't know what they're gonna think about me. I'm like 24 years later, man, you are Wolverine now. That's crazy. It's crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There was a post-credit scene, but my theater's power went out. I was kind of pissed about that, but I was like, it's all good, bro. So I looked up the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene is essentially Johnny Storm talking shit about Cassandra, saying everything like I said, like he went in on her. So low key, he had to go out how he went out. I was a little disappointed about there not being like a bigger grandiose post-credit scene to kind of connect the universes. But let's be for real, there was enough Easter eggs in the film with Deadpool talking to Happy on Earth 616. I don't know how that even happened. Like I said, this whole time traveling multiverse stuff, they need to really simplify it for me, or I'm just gonna be like, okay, sure, whatever. Until there's like a scathing piece of shit storyline that doesn't make no sense, I'll just turn my brain off for now. The cameos, like I said, the cameos are really more so the Fox Marvel universe. You don't get everybody, you get some mentions. Like I said, Daredevil died, so you don't get to see Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Punisher died. I think that it's implied that Cassandra killed any of the Xaviers that came to the Void. And what else is there? Oh, there was a Hulk cameo as well too when Deadpool was looking for Wolverine, and you specifically get the live action version. I know it happened in the comics first, most likely, but you get to have the live action version of Wolverine versus the Hulk. Y'all know the one. Y'all know the animated one, and it's just live action. You get to see the brown and yellow suit for Wolverine, and you get to see Hulk for a moment. But still a very, very solid movie. I really liked the Deadpool arc, the arc that Deadpool went through. I liked the arc that Wolverine went through. I feel like obviously there's a lot more attention given to Deadpool, and not really attention, but you got to see it. You saw the other two films, so you know the arc, the overall arc, as this is the third film or the third installation for Deadpool. Whereas for Wolverine, you don't, but you kind of do get an arc with that. I'm wondering if they'll be in the Avengers movies. Most likely they will be. Like, I'm not even questioning it. But I wish they kind of gave a little bit more. I think that's probably more so what I personally would have wanted from a post-credit scene. But hey, it is what it is. We got a good-ass movie, and Marvel might be going through their redemption arc. I hope. Because I'm a big like X-Men, any X-Men adjacent sort of stuff type of fan. Like, I love the X-Men. I love them more than the Avengers. They might not more. But yeah, damn, this really changes the whole narrative from my Doctor Doom video now. But it is what it is. Anyways, solid movie still. Solid movie. Still a lot better than what we got. It's not perfect, but it's up there though. All right, yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.